Hello, 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 everyone. Come on in to the webinar. My name is Linda Peavy, and I'm going to be your host for this evening where we are going to talk about grants and yes, how you can still win grants in this crazy grant environment. So as you come in, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Come on in, say hello to me. Say hello to me. And thank you for showing up because we did have some technical difficulties. That's how it is with technology sometimes. So thank you for showing up. I know there were some issues with registration, but it was all straightened out. So let me know where you were coming in from. I'm in the land. I'm in the land, not too far from Cleveland, Ohio, where it is a frosty, like 30 some odd degrees, but we're not complaining because it is supposed to be like 70 degrees. Like I can feel spring in the air. Now, don't be shy. I see you coming in. Say hello to me. Let me know what city and state you are coming in from. Hello, Linda. Linda, you're in Toledo. Linda, here's another Linda. I used to live in Toledo, Linda. Yes, I lived in Toledo for 3 years. How about that? Hello, Patina from North Carolina and Damaris from Snellville, Georgia. Who else is coming in today? We're going to talk about, yes, oh, the grant landscape and how we are going to push through and get this grant money. Hello, Almada from Norway, South Carolina. And Sharon is just rubbing it in because she's in Phoenix where it is 76 degrees. It's always beautiful in Phoenix. I've been to Phoenix so many times and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Hello, Carolyn. Carolyn is back with us today. Carolyn, a lot of new information today, Carolyn. Our friend Carolyn is back. Oh, it's 78 degrees. Well, look, we're supposed to get to 70, right? It's in the 30s now, but we're supposed to get to 70 on Friday, and I will be so happy. So as you come in, say hello. Don't be shy. I see you coming in. Give that city and that state a shout out as you come in. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to get started because I have a lot of information to share with you about where we are with grants and how you can push through, all of the chaos, truly all of the chaos, and what you need to do to still place yourself in a position to get these grants. Hello, Denise, coming in from South Carolina, and Mary from Louisiana. We're going to get started. We are live, so I'm going to share my screen, and then we're going to be off to the races. All right, so it's looking good, looking good. All right, so winning grants in uncertain times. Yes, we're going to go through some proven strategies. Want to make sure everybody is in the right place. All right, all right. Let's see. As we say hello to, is it Bashika from Cleveland, Mississippi? And I believe that's Mississippi. And Kathleen from Oregon. Kathleen from Oregon. Hello. Catherine's coming in from Georgia. All right, all right. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, we're going to get started because, again, so much information to share with you, a lot. All right. Now, let me give you information about my background for those of you who don't know me. Some of you do, but some of you don't. Yes, they do call me the grants queen because I have secured $17 million, almost $18 million now worth of funding in grants, right? And so this is year 17 of me owning my company, LaPov Consulting. Every one of those years, I have been a professional grant writer. Now, I give grant writing workshops all over the country, some for private companies, some for your major organizations. Literally just came back from Seattle, where I was teaching an organization privately. They wanted a private grant writing session. And I also provide presentations remotely. I have trained so many different organizations from the Urban League to Goldman Sachs on grant writing. And I am a proud alumnus of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program. And my undergrad and graduate degrees are from the University of Akron. Go Zips, go Zips. All right. Now, yes, I have a business, but I used to lead a nonprofit. So I want to know who is here with me today. So let me know in the chat. Are you a nonprofit, or are you a small business, meaning you are a for-profit? So let me know in the chat, or maybe you're both, because I'm finding that a lot of nonprofits are opening up for-profits, right? And for-profits are opening up nonprofits. So let me know. Who is here with me today? A lot of both. How about that? Wow. Small business working on opening up a nonprofit. A lot of both. This is incredible. It's really, really, really a good idea, right? Because it gives you more flexibility for applying for grant money, right? We have some for-profits, we have some nonprofits. All right. So the reason why I ask you that question right at the beginning of the presentation is so that you understand there are grants for both entities, right? So if you are a nonprofit or a small business, there's grant money still available for you. All right. All right. Now, if I can get my mouse to work, how did I get here? I used to be a publishing executive in Pennsylvania and I got hurt. I was there 10 years. And when I got hurt, I had to move back home to Cleveland to recuperate. Literally came home in a wheelchair because I couldn't even stand. It took me 2 years to recuperate. And at the end of those 2 years, I couldn't find a job. Now, if you know anything about Cleveland, you know it's like not the publishing mecca of the United States, right? So I couldn't find a job. So that's when I started LaPaul Consulting. And one of my first contracted positions was to be the executive director of a nonprofit. I don't think I was there 2 weeks before the board of directors called me into their office and said, Linda, you need to write a grant to save your job, a grant that would literally pay for your salary. Now, I had never seen a grant before. I had no knowledge of grants. And now I'm being asked to write a grant that would save my job, thus saving the organization, by the way. But you know what? I did it. I researched. I wrote that grant. I won that grant and it paid for my salary for a year. And I knew that, yes, one, you can write and win grants with zero experience. Yes, you can. And two, it allowed me to really understand what you can do with grant money. How about hire staff? Some of you I know you're tired of wearing all 20 hats, right? Or how about you open? Some of you have yet to open, right? There are startup grants available. We'll talk a lot more about what you can do with grant money as we move along. Now, what else will we talk about? Why this class is even important. What is the current grant landscape? That's very important for you to know what is going on. And then I will give you some grant basics. We will talk about how do you prepare to apply? What do you write? How do you write? How do you attract organizations? How do you get noticed? Grant writing is competitive and it's going to become even more competitive. And then how do you conduct grant research so that you're finding the organizations that want to fund you? And then I have some hot funding areas, right? So I want you to be encouraged at the end. You're going to be encouraged when I'm done, right? And then we're going to do a Q&A. Now, speaking of Q&A, this is not the time to be shy, okay? This is your opportunity to ask a grants expert and a grants instructor questions about grants, right? So drop them in either the chat or the Q&A, and I will answer them at the end. And then I have a bonus surprise for you. Now, let me just say at the beginning, I'm here to help you, and you're going to need help, right? You're going to need help navigating through this grant maze because many things have changed. I'm here to help you. Therefore, you're going to get a free replay of this masterclass, free. I am not charging you for this information because I want you to have it and to use it. And you're going to have it forever. I'm not going to put some expiration date on this information. No, you're really going to need this information moving forward. So don't worry, you're going to get it for free. You'll have it tonight or tomorrow morning, probably tonight, and then no expiration date. Deal? All right, all right. It is time to get started. Now, why are we even here? Because everything has changed in the grant world. And guess what? We need access to grant money. It really shouldn't always be about loans, right? We want grant funding because grant funding is free to us. But what you must understand is that you can do this. You can write grants. Grant writing is not sitting in some corner. for 3 months at a time writing some 500-page document? I know because that's exactly what I used to do. Do you know that some of these grant applications are 2 and 3 pages? You can do this, but you need to know that there's a process to winning. That's what I've learned after having won almost $18 million. There's a process to winning. And that's what I'm going to show you tonight. And it is about more than you just answering a question and sending off that application. There's a lot more to it. I'm going to show you what it's about tonight. All right. All right. All right. Come on, little mouse. Now, let me talk to you about the current grant landscape so that you know what's going on. So we know that the current administration has proposed significant cuts to federal grant funding in these areas of social services and education and economic development. And about 3 weeks ago, there was an executive order that came out, right, that wanted to try to freeze federal grants and loans, all federal grants and loans, right? And so even now, even though that executive order had to be rescinded, they're still targeting, right, the Department of Education, Small Business Administration, National Institutes of Health, HHS, right? But here's what I want you to understand very carefully. Here's the good news. Federal grants do not equal all grants. When that freeze came out about a month ago, there was mass panic. I was receiving emails and text messages. Oh my gosh, Linda, there are no more grants. All of the grants are gone. No, no, no. Federal grants do not equal all grants. Grants come from thousands and thousands of resources. So even though there will be cuts in the federal grants, I rarely even discuss federal grants. You know why? They're typically large dollar, require experience, require partners. They are difficult to get. I usually talk about foundation grants, private, community, family, and corporate foundations, because that money is ongoing, right? And it's much less volatile than what's going on with the federal government. So I want you to be encouraged because the money that's coming from your private and community and family foundations and corporate foundations is still there. It's still for the taking. So you still have this opportunity to apply for grants. Yes, both for your nonprofits and your small businesses. All right. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about diversifying your funding because all of your money should never come from one resource. Grants, great, but also your money should be coming from sponsorships and maybe individual donors and corporate contracts and partnerships and even donor advised funds, right? So this becomes important to diversify so that you don't do what? Put all of your eggs in one basket anyway, right? Now, here's the great news. Existing grants in progress will likely continue, right? And guess what? Those corporate and those foundation grants and the community foundation grants and the private foundation grants, they're literally going to be stepping up in order to cover the gaps left by the federal cuts. So this is why it's more important than ever that you are seeking community, private, family, and corporate foundations because they know it's coming, right? So they are prepared to start doing what? Giving even more. All right. Now, just because there are going to be cuts on the federal level doesn't mean that that's going to all trickle down to your state and local governments, right? Because they're still going to continue funding these initiatives, even if the federal money is going to shrink. So this is why more important than ever for you to think local, right? Your local governments, your local communities, even your state governments. All right. So think local. Now, let's talk about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? And the backlash and what it means for grants. Now, we know that DEI covers minorities, women, veterans, the disabled, and a lot more, right? So this is what's happening. There will be fewer public DEI grants that are government issued, right? Because we know that they are attempting to totally erase DEI initiatives, right? What does it mean? That there's going to be more competition for what's left, right? And so what it means for you, if maybe your target population are communities of color or women or veterans or the disabled, you're going to need to do a little bit of rebranding and maybe even repositioning your mission. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But here's the fantastic news. And I have been in rooms with these organizations, with some of the largest organizations in the country, and they are doubling down on their support of DEI, of women, of minorities, of veterans, of the disabled. Organizations like the Ford Foundation and Kellogg Foundation. And I've probably been on the websites of about 200 local community foundations in the last 2 weeks, and they have not removed any such language because they know that's where the need is, right? So be encouraged about this. And even a lot of the major corporations like Google and Apple, they're either maintaining their DEI grant funding or they may be restructuring it, right? To use other language, right? But the results are going to be the same. And that is supporting minorities, women, veterans, etc. So that's the really, really, really great news. That's why I really want you to be encouraged, right? It's not about everything you see on TV, because if you keep looking at what's on TV, you'll be thinking that you won't ever get another grant again, right? And nothing could be further from the truth. All right. Now, when I said rebranding and repositioning, this is what I mean. Now, you may have to reword, right, some of your language when you are applying for grants. So, for example, instead of saying that your program is about racial equity, right? We know that racial equity in terms of what's coming out of the White House means DEI, right? So you may have to rephrase your language to say economic empowerment instead of racial equity. It does not mean you change who you serve. I want to be crystal clear about that. If you rather serve communities of color, African American people, Hispanics, the veterans, women, you don't change who you help. You don't change who you serve. You change and tweak the language, right? Because there's going to be this huge shift towards like workforce development and entrepreneurship grants, right? Really empowerment grants. So maybe instead of saying my program is geared towards a minority focus, and maybe in essence it is, maybe your program is to help African American boys, right? Maybe youth development. You help African American youth, maybe to develop skills. Instead of specifically talking about minority focus, shift to economic and job growth for underrepresented communities, underrepresented youth, instead of using specifically words like Black, right? Or minority. You're still helping the same group of people. That is very important. And these organizations are still giving money. You just shift the language a bit. All right. You just shift the language a bit. Right. So think about, how do you reframe your DEI initiatives if those are the communities that you serve? Focus on impact, focus on whatever the economic impact is going to be of your program, right? So instead of being too focused on identity-based funding, what are the results of your program? If you help Black boys to become more skilled, what is the result of that, right? And then think about ways to strengthen your partnerships with the application, because that's going to be extremely important, regardless of who you serve. What I want you to do is strengthen that grant application. So regardless of who you serve and who you help, you don't want to give the foundation a reason to reject you. So think about partnerships, collaborate with maybe larger institutions that have funding stability and credibility in the grant application, right? And seek out what we call quiet DEI funding, right? Because there are a lot of organizations that are absolutely still supporting minority Black-led initiatives, right? But they know that they have to use like less politically sensitive language, so maybe they can't use DEI for fear of what's coming out of the White House. So they're relabeling their grants as maybe financial empowerment, workforce advancement, entrepreneurship grants, economic growth, community development. Just again, tweaking the language so that at the end of the day, you're still going to be helped. All right. So hopefully everybody understands that. If you have questions, be sure to place those questions in the chat or the Q&A. Now let's get into the grant. What do you need to know about grants? Grants are not paid back. Now, for you nonprofits, it is a requirement that you get your 501c3. That's your tax-exempt charitable organization designation by the IRS. Now, these foundations literally require that you as a nonprofit get your 501c3 because they are often mandated by their board of directors that they can only give their grant money to nonprofits with a 501c3. And yes, even if you are a church or a school, you will still need a 501c3. All right. Now, the good news is that it's taking the IRS about 6 to 8 weeks to process the applications. I am including the link to the IRS application website into the chat. All right. So you'll see the link to the IRS chat. I'm sorry, to the IRS in the chat. All right. All right. Now, from this point forward, this is important. From this point forward, I'm talking to all of you, small businesses, nonprofits, everybody. Look at this slide, people. This is U.S. grant annual funding, foundation, corporation, and bequest giving. Bequest giving to a much smaller extent. Most of this money is coming from foundations and corporations, right? $189 billion in 2023. Do you see federal funding anywhere on this slide? No, this money was available 3 weeks ago, and guess what? It's available now. Oh, it's going to be given out. You have to ask yourself, am I going to place myself in a position? Am I going to place my organization in a position to get it? And I want you to think about $189 billion right now, because that is a lot of money. But don't be intimidated. Don't think, oh my gosh, there's like no way I can get any of that. It's just too much money. Because at the end of the day, all you need is what you need, right? You just need a little bit, just a little bit of $189 billion. So I want everybody right now to put into this chat. I just need a little bit. Everybody, that's right, into this chat, because I want you to focus on what you need, right? And you just need a little bit of $189 billion. That's right, Patina. Catherine, do you need all of it? Crystal, do you need all $189 billion? Maria, will you accept just a little bit of it? Or do you need it all? Crystal, will you accept how about a slice, Shirley? How about a slice, Bakisha? Or do you need it all? Right? You just need a little bit. Just a little bit. You just need what you need. So that's what I want you to focus on, not this big, huge number. That's right. Crystal says a slice will do. I don't mind sharing, right? That's what I'm talking about. People, this is a lot of money and it's going to be given out, right? And it has nothing to do with federal funding. So place yourself in a position to get it. All right? All right. Come on, little mouse. Now, because they call me the grants queen, I'm going to be giving you nice cups of tea because it's cold here. It's in the 30s. It's cold here. Nice cups of tea this evening. And this is the first cup. It is called Grammarly. Now, if you use Grammarly right now, give yourself some love in this chat. What is it? It is a free software editing tool. Is free, is free, is free. You download it onto your computer. As you are writing, it will self-correct. You use it for Word, for Excel, for your emails. Who is using Grammarly? Let me know in the chat. Who is using Grammarly? Why is this important? Because I do not. Denise is using Grammarly. I do not want you submitting grant applications full of grammatical errors. Not when there's a program like Grammarly that's free. All right? So download Grammarly, and courtesy of Grammarly, this article, Improve Writing Skills Dramatically by Doing These 15 Things. Again, I don't want you submitting grant applications full of grammatical errors. All right? Download Grammarly. Download this article. Now, what are we doing here? We are preparing to apply for grants. You have to be grant ready, meaning your EIN, your employer identification number, you need one. Nonprofits, you need your 501c3. Small businesses, are you a legal business? Do you have your legal entity taken care of, your articles of incorporation? Now, in some states, you need a business license. In Ohio, you do. There are some states where you don't need one. Find out from your Secretary of State's website. If you are a nonprofit, get that list of board of directors together. Now, as a nonprofit, that's a mandate, that's a requirement. You have to have that board. You also need a list of any staff. Get letters of support. Let these foundations know that there are organizations that support you. They should be coming from your key stakeholders, right? People who know your work and your mission in the community. They could be coming from the mayor, politicians, right? Your vendors, your pastor, the church, all right? And all of you need an operating budget. And don't be scared by this, because this is just a budget that will estimate how much money you need to operate over the course of a year. Because when you provide those estimates, it's going to help you determine how much grant money you need. All right. And next, your financial documents. If you are currently operating, you must get your documents in order. Your balance sheet and your profit and loss statement. Another term for profit and loss is income. All right. All right. Yes, Crystal, you must be prepared. You must be prepared to write these grants. You can't just download an application and complete a couple of questions and send it off. That is a guaranteed rejection letter. Now, I'm going to go through the typical components of a grant application and give you best practices as to how you write each section. The first section that you're going to see is called the summary abstract. But whatever you do, don't be fooled. You always write it last. You see it first, you write it last. You're going to complete your grant application and then go back and start pulling out the most compelling components, just pulling out the components, and then you dump them into the summary, because this is the first impression that a foundation has for your organization. So this section has to be tight. Now, oh my goodness, the mission statement is absolutely critical now, even more so than before. You must have a mission statement. I often get asked, Linda, I'm a small business. I don't need a mission, do I? Yes, you need a mission statement, because guess what? That mission statement is literally going to align you to the organization that wants to give you grant money. Because grants now, more so than ever before, because of what's happening, are mission based. So if you are laser focused on K through 12 education, you need to be seeking out foundations that also have a passion for K through 12 education. And you don't change your mission based on what organization you're applying for grants from. No, you need to be seeking organizations that align to your mission. All right. So if you don't have a mission statement, that is homework 101. Now, the history section, just don't ever leave that section blank, even if you are a startup, because then you're going to be talking about what were those experiences and activities that led to you opening. They become a part of the organization's history. Leadership, that's easy. Your CEO, your executive director, but don't ever leave out your board, because your board is very much a part of your leadership team. Now, this next section is it. This is where you are going to separate yourself from the pack in this grant application, because when you start describing your organization and even your program or your service, you need to write in terms of impact. What has been the impact of your organization on those for whom you serve, and use real numbers? So if you have a homeless ministry, how many homeless people have you placed into shelters? You have an online coaching service and career development. How many people have you led to their future careers? Maybe you haven't opened yet. Now you're going to talk about what you hope your impact will be. Maybe you want to open up a tutoring organization for middle school kids, right? You can write, I expect the impact will be that once they complete my program, they will have increased their reading proficiency scores by like 5%. Because there's a rise in impact-driven and mission-based grants, because these organizations are looking for measurable impact over just like feel-good initiative. Oh, I want to help everybody. No. How have you helped them? How are you going to help them? So those grants, right, that are aligning with like economic growth or maybe workforce development, those are some of the ones that are really increasing. But overall, talk about impact, using real numbers, whether or not you have opened or are opening. And also, you have to write this application as if you are addressing a problem, or solving a need. And there's always a need, there's always a problem. It doesn't matter your industry. Doesn't matter whether or not you are nonprofit or for-profit. Let's take a bakery. A bakery wants a $20,000 grant to locate downtown. Now, you might be asking, what issue is she resolving? She's making cakes all day, right? Maybe she decided to open up a vegan bakery because vegans don't have a lot of great places to buy baked goods, so she's solving their issue. Or maybe it's economic development because this is an underrepresented community and she knows that her business will maybe help to revitalize the area. So it's all about community development. Whatever the reason, whatever the problem, is going to align you to the organization that wants to give you funding because you need to match what you are providing with where they are giving. And how do you find out where and how foundations give? You go to their websites. It's all there. Unfortunately, 90% of foundations don't even have a website. So that's where you have to do a little bit of research to get information about that particular organization. And next, target population. This is where a lot of you really get into trouble. I mean, seriously, a lot of you get into trouble here because I've been a business coach for 16 years now. I coach for the Women's Business Center, which is funded by EIDC, which is part of the Small Business Administration. And when I ask, who are you helping with your organization? Too often I get, Linda, I help everybody. I have a heart for helping. If they come my way, I have to help them. No, 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 no. You can't help everybody. I have to say that again. You cannot help everybody. You need one, maybe two target populations, and then refer them to some other organization for more help. Because foundations give their grants according to target population. So you have to be able to define yours. One, maybe two. If you want to drop yours into the chat, I will comment at the end if we have time. But at the end of the day, people, this grant application is the opportunity for you to tell your story to somebody that wants to hear it. How you've changed lives. What were the outcomes? Use real examples, use testimonials. There is no better way of showing impact than video. If you're currently open, have one of your clients or multiple clients talking to their cell phone for 30 seconds, give you a video, goes on the homepage of your website. And yes, foundations do check your website out because this storytelling with data is essential now. I mean, you're going to hear this all throughout tonight. Measurable results, data, not just good intentions, not just, I want to help. How are you helping? Who are you helping? What's the proof? Now, all of you do have a decision to make. You need to ask for operating or program project grant money per foundation, right? You know, we love to get operating grants because an operating grant means that you get to apply the funding to build up your infrastructure to pay for your administrative costs. That could be salaries, your lease, IT, marketing, contractors, right? About 32% of grant money goes towards general operating support. The other grant money must go to a particular service or program or project. Let's say that restaurant starts a delivery service. That would be a particular project. But you must apply to multiple foundations. Why do you think that is? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat, why do you think it is important to apply to multiple foundations? Let me know in the chat. What do you think? Why do you think that is important? While I take a sip. Why do you think that's important? Excuse me. Why do you have to apply to multiple foundations? Excuse me, into the chat. Let me know. Heath, better results. Yes. Grants are not guaranteed. Exactly, Caroline. Grants are not guaranteed, people. Don't let anybody tell you that they can guarantee you grant money. If they do, I want you to do one of those military turns and run in the other direction. Run in the other direction. You're about to be scammed. That's right, Mary. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. And Patina, yes, literally, to meet a variety of needs. That is perfect because guess what? One grant may not do it. One grant may allow you to pay for your executive director. Another grant may allow you to pay for your supplies, right? That's perfect. And Maria, yes, you have a better chance the more grants you apply for. So, yes, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. Now, I cannot possibly state to you the importance or overstate the importance of community partnerships. You must do this. You must do this. Each and every one of you need to connect with organizations in your community, well-respected organizations, because guess what? It one increases your level of visibility, right? Let's say you have an accounting firm. You could literally give a tax talk, 1 hour tax talk free every month this tax season. They're going to promote you, which increases your level of visibility because foundations are constantly looking to see who's doing what in their community, right? So it could be government agencies, economic development organizations, universities, women's business organizations. The why. I'll give you another example. Let's say someone has a reentry program, right? A reentry program. That means they are going to be working with ex-offenders to make sure that they do not go back to jail, right? So that's the recidivism rate. Everybody wants that rate to be low. Now, you know, she has to interview those in the criminal justice system while they're in jail to make sure that they even qualify for her program. But her goal is to get them reacclimated to society so that they become productive members of the community. Who do you think she should be meeting with? Let me know. I need to know in the chat. Who do you think she should be meeting with? Think about this. Who should she be meeting with? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Reentry program. She's helping people who are in jail, once they are released, become productive members of society. Who should she be meeting with? Right? She's got to get to the people in jail before they are released to interview them to make sure that they are, right, eligible for her program. Who should she be meeting with? That's right, Carolyn, the church, because there are some churches that have programs for ex-offenders. Parole departments, absolutely. Who else? Parole departments, right? Doesn't she have to meet with the sheriff's office? What about the warden? Who else? Give me some other names. The warden absolutely must meet with the warden, right, Crystal? Must meet with the warden to know that she has this program. Who else should she be meeting with? Shouldn't she have to meet with maybe organizations that provide transitional housing? They need somewhere to live, right? You don't want them to be homeless. Exactly. Community housing, Crystal, right? The parole department, right? The police officers. I thought I thought you were going to write Popo. PO, police officers. That's right, Linda. Police officers, right? That's right. Housing. Oh, workforce development organization. You see how easy this is? We came up with what, 7 or 8? This is what I want you to do. This is homework for all of you. You need to name 5 organizations that you are going to meet with. 5 that you are going to meet with, because you need to be able to write this information in your grant application. And it doesn't mean that you needed to have met with them. It just means that you need to plan on meeting with them, but it will strengthen your grant application. It's going to look great to know that you are partnering with these other organizations. Now, let's talk about your goals, because you have to write down what you expect to occur if you get the grant money. They have to be SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Let's say I have a literacy program because I want to help kids read. Therefore, I want to reduce the poverty rate in Cleveland. That's what I write down as my goal. But that's not a SMART goal. Remember, SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. My SMART goal would say I want to reduce the poverty rate by 5% in Cleveland for Hispanic children under the age of 5 within a 5-year time frame. Tell me what I did. Tell me in the chat, how did I change the goal into a SMART goal? Yes, you're going to be working tonight. How did I change the goal into a SMART goal? Into the chat. What did I do? I quantified it, Crystal. Yes. Yes, that's exactly what I did. What else did I do? What else did I do? What else did I do? How did I change that goal into a SMART goal? But yes, I did quantify it. And I added a time frame, right? That's it, Carolyn. Carolyn and Crystal, measurables. I provided measurables, 5%. And Cleveland, Hispanic children under the age of 5-year time frame. Anytime you want to change your goal to a SMART goal, add data and stats. Easy, easy equation. Add data and stats. Now we're on to the grant budget. This is how you're going to spend the money. You need to itemize these expenses. So if you need a $50,000 grant to hire an executive director, you can't just write I need 50 grand in the grant application. No. Is it a contracted position? How many hours will they be working? How much is the pay rate? How many hours in the week? How many weeks in the year? Do you need supplies? How many supplies do you need? How much are the supplies? Who's using them? How are they going to be used? Itemize. Your description of how you're using the money goes into the budget narrative, usually a Word document. The actual dollars and cents go into the budget, typically an Excel file. Got that? Now, this is one of the most important slides that you're going to see in this presentation. So I need for all of you to take note because this is as or more important than anything you will ever write in the application. You need to meet with the foundation first before you submit the grant application, if at all possible. Meet with them. Develop this relationship. You want to meet with them because you're trying to get their grant money and they want to meet with you. They're considering giving you their grant money. And oftentimes in this meeting, you will get information about that grant that's not even posted on their website. I probably set up 1,000 of these in the last 16 years. I will always remember one 30-minute Zoom meeting. My client got $30,000. And yes, most of the time, these are Zoom meetings. Now, if the foundation is in close proximity to you, meet with them in person. If not, Zoom meetings, 30-minute Zoom meetings, right? Now, I know some of you are saying, Linda, this sounds good, but I don't have time for this. I don't have time to write these grants. I don't have time to write these grants. Remember, I said to you at the beginning that some of these grants are 3 and 4 pages. I was not kidding. Some are 2 pages, right? So you can do this. You can do this. But I have a question for all of you, and I would like an answer in the chat. I would like an answer in the chat to my question. Do you have time to get free money? Like, do you have time to get free money? Does anybody have time to get free money? Let me see in the chat if anybody has time to get free money. I don't see any. Oh, I'm saying I got time. I'm saying yes. I'm saying always. I'm saying I do. I'm saying sure. I'm saying yes, yes. I'm saying I have time to get free money. I'm saying yes, I will make time. I'm saying yes. I'm saying we all do what we have to make it happen. I'm saying, oh, yes, I have plenty of time for free money. I'm saying time is money, okay? Crystal says time is money. So it seems like you got time to get this free money. Therefore, I need you to spend just a little bit of time on the process to get the free money. So what are you going to do? You're going to meet with the foundation. How are you going to do it? You're going to send an email letter. In the email, you are describing your organization. You're talking about who you serve, how you serve them. You are aligning your mission or your program or project to where they fund or their mission. In this email, you are not asking for money. That is a quick way to get a rejection letter. You're not asking for money. You're asking for a meeting. And in the meeting, you're asking for money. All right. Now, we're on to the grant research. How do you find these grants? The Foundation Directory Online is the leading source of information on grants in the U.S. They're also called Candid, but the online portal is called Foundation Directory Online. Now, bear in mind, they don't give you a list of grants. They give you the organizations that provide the grants. So let's say you have a program in Detroit where you're helping veterans with transitional housing. You input that information to FDO. It's going to give you a list of organizations that fund that type of a program. $50 a month to subscribe. Or Totally free access at your local library. Totally free access. Grants.gov, that's the source for federal grants. Now, do you have a church? Are you a faith-based organization? Yes, there are grants for you. That's the Lilly Foundation, is the largest funder. I happen to love Grant Watch. They're $20 a week or $200 for the whole year. Now, they do give you the actual grant that is open and a synopsis of the grant and the sponsor of the grant and the deadline and the contact information. $20 a week or $200 for the year. Speaking of $200 for the year, that's Grant Station. They also give you information about the grant and the funder and a lot of free training. UrbanAwarenessUSA.org. I know they are minority owned, but they provide all kinds of grants, free training. Sign up for their e-newsletter, all kinds of grants. They probably give information on maybe 4 or 5 new grants every week. Now, let me show you how you conduct the research. This is Grant Watch, $20 a week. In the middle, check whether or not you are a nonprofit or a business. Then to the left, you just start completing your filters. Your target populations, who are you serving? Veterans, the homeless? What is the subject area? Arts and culture, education, technology. Put in your location, you push a button, you get a list of grants. Now, let me say something to all of you again about location, because a lot of you are just leaving money on the table. Do you know that it is easier for you to get money from local funders and local foundations? It's easier. So if some of you just Googled, excuse me, local community foundation and meet with them, that may give some of you grant money right there. Local. Start local. It's easier. But don't disregard the national foundations. There are more of them. Just because an organization is headquartered in Texas doesn't mean they're not giving money to you and you're in Tennessee. And for my international friends, absolutely, this is for you as well. You could live in the United States and serve a target population in Canada and still get grants. You could live in Africa and serve a population in Africa and still get grants. All right, so this happens to be Grant Watch, $20 a week, $200 for the year. Get you a list of grants. Now, let me just go through some quick hot grant areas for private foundation grants, right? Now, again, we love private foundation grants because they are less politically influenced, right? Because this money comes from what? People of means, wealthy people who are giving their money to these foundations to give out, right? These are just a few. The Ford Foundation, one of the largest in the world, right? Economic justice, creativity, free expression. Kellogg Foundation, one of the largest in the world. Racial equity, family economic security, early childhood education. Again, some of these organizations are not shying away from these terms. Chamber of Commerce Foundation, right? Go to, especially if you're a small business, even if you're a nonprofit, go to your local chamber because oftentimes they will give grant funding. I know the chamber that I'm involved in, they give scholarships to go back to school and some grant funding. Another area, economic development, economic empowerment, and community development, right? These grants, right? Economic growth, small business support, they all fund Black-owned, minority-led, and women-owned businesses under community development language instead of DEI, right? Where do you look? Your CDFI organizations, local chambers, your economic development agencies. There are those in every state and most cities. Opportunity zone. Some of you might be located in an opportunity zone or maybe serving organizations in an opportunity zone. Health education and workforce development grants, right? Workforce training, upskilling, right? Community health. These are huge priorities. So if you are a minority-led or woman-focused program, look under economic empowerment, community well-being, right? There are still Department of Labor grants available. Here's a couple of others. The Robert Wood Johnson Foundation is one of the largest in the world. They are laser focused on health equity and the disparities in the health system when it comes to communities of color. And then there's a Google Career Certificate Fund that will provide you with some free workforce training and digital skills development. Climate, tech innovation grants, they're hot. Anything to do with sustainability and AI and tech innovation, right? Those grants are plentiful. Where do you look? NSF, SBIR, those are two government grants. And then the automobile manufacturers, yes, they give out grants. They absolutely give out grants. And EPA. So, yes, there are still government, even federal grants. These are federal grants that are still being given out in certain areas, right? And then for those of you who work internationally, yes, there are grants for you as well. Keep in mind, you're going to look under those same portals, Grant Watch, Grant Station, Foundation Directory Online, and yes, they will give you international grants. But also, these are some others. The United Nations Development Program, they have grants. Open Society Foundation, you can Google them, go to their website. They have grants for organizations that operate all over the world, right? All right. Come on, mouse. Now, I want to just throw in some alternative funding sources, right? And you know some of these, right? Crowdfunding. You can have a Kickstarter program, Global Giving, I Fund Women, GoFundMe. These are four, I think, are the largest. But also consider fiscal sponsorships, right? That means you're working under the umbrella of a larger nonprofit, but it still means you're getting funded. And these are some of the organizations that provide fiscal sponsorships. And then we have your government contracts, right? What you need to know is that there are government contracts that are given by the state, city, county, as well as federal contracts, but also corporate contracts. Many organizations forget that corporations provide contracts too. And so if you are a woman-owned business or minority-owned business, you want to try to get your certifications because that is the best route to getting your contracts. All right. So those are just a few alternative funding sources other than grants, right? So these are just a few grant recommendations. I won't go through them all. Amber Grants for Women, they give away $30,000 every single month for women. If you have a brick and mortar, maybe you have a physical location, there's a Wish grant and a Main Street grant. Let's say you are a startup. There's a Busy grant and a Sky's the Limit grant, right? Now let's go to Amarillo because you might be thinking, Linda, I'm too small to get these grants. I'm a solopreneur. Solopreneurs still get grants too, right? Or you might be saying, Linda, I really don't have some huge organizational chart. Like it's just me and I don't even pay myself. You don't need some huge organizational chart. You know what you need? Impact. Impact. And yes, all volunteer organizations get grants too. And be sure that you Google local community foundation near me, especially if you are a nonprofit and you meet with the organization that comes up. All right. All right. Now, I want you to really quickly put into the chat, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about banks and money? Banks and money, like what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about banks and money? Banks and money. Banks and money. Oh, denials and loans. Did you know that banks are some of the they make money? Yes. Did you know that banks are some of the largest providers of grant money? Grant money. This is why you have to move beyond what they're saying to you constantly about, oh, federal funding, there's no federal funding. That means there are no grants. No, that is not true. Banks, one of the largest banks in Ohio, Key Bank, has one of the largest foundations, the Key Bank Foundation. I'm going to give you four hot leads right now. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, TD Banks, Truist. I'm dropping those links into the chat. Yes, you'll have to meet with them, but they give grants to for-profits and nonprofits, except for maybe TD Banks. I think TD Banks only gives to nonprofits. All right. Now, let me say a couple of words about ChatGPT and artificial intelligence if you're using it to help write grants. Remember, it is a tool, not a replacement. It is great for editing. It is great for like retooling your application, rewriting it. But you are going to need to understand how to write the basics, your mission, your need statement, your impact statement, your budget, so that you feed it into AI. Remember, you have to feed AI in the term right? A prompt, right? It's called a prompt. That's the term. But what it means is that that prompt consists of what you are feeding into artificial intelligence. And it means that you're going to have to really understand how you write about your organization so that AI can then maybe perfect it, right? Now, these are some of your next steps. I want you to identify at least 5 funding sources. You're going to get this replay. Identify 5. Reframe your mission statement if you have to. Learn to write the absolute best grant application to showcase your organization. And move yourself to apply to at least 3 new grants in the next 60 days. You can do this, but follow up with the funders. Excuse me, and do what? You are building that relationship. Remember, you're meeting with that foundation before you submit that application. What else are you doing? You are using data, data, data. And then I would be happy to book a strategy call with you, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a few moments, because this is your bonus surprise. This is what I have to help you get to that place. I wrote a grant writing course, soup to nuts. And yes, it includes my coaching. This is how I won $17 million. This is how I won $17 million. I put into a course that would help you, right? Because it's more about just answering a question on an application and sending it off. It's about placing your organization in a position to get the grant money. This course will help you write every part of the grant narrative, from the mission statement to the budget to the need statement, and it will teach you how to conduct thoroughly the grant research to find these organizations. But the coaching comes in. Let's say you're going to meet with the foundation. You have no idea what to say or what to do. You come into our private Facebook group and you ask the question, and you will get an answer. I will show you, what do you say? How do you say it? What do you bring to that meeting? What do you showcase? What do you listen for in terms of keywords or buzzwords? What do you ask? The course will teach you how to write your budget, including the grant budget. But if you don't know how much to ask for, whether you should be asking for operating money or program project money, you come into the Facebook group and you ask. And you get questions from a real person, not a bot. Now, the course will give you 12 modules, 35 lessons. You get a video in front of every lesson. Here's what's different about this course. I've been hired to create grant applications to literally write the grant question. I have used questions from real grant applications in this course. So you are answering real grant questions. So by the time you're done with the course, you have a beautiful grant template because you've answered questions in-depthly, because that's the way in which I asked them. But you're answering them with the help of this community and with my support and with my coaching, so that when you're done with that grant template, you are ready to start applying for grants, right? And you can just literally pull the answers from the template. That's why this makes it easier and faster to have that great template. And yes, you get real examples in the course. And every example, I wrote every example, won money. And I do something nobody else is doing. I give you a list of over 600 organizations, 600. And then you get that private Facebook group. And I tell you, it is amazing. There are so many grants that we place in the Facebook group. But guess what? The students place more grants than we do. And then you get an hour of group coaching every single month. Not just one and done, every month. Live group coaching with me. Live. Because I want to help you. Now, this is not what you're paying, but this is what the course is worth, because that's very important. 12 modules, 35 lessons worth $3,549, because it's on par with the university grant writing courses. The 30 intro videos worth $599. The 600 funding list of names of organizations that provide grants, $499. Your workbooks, your planners, and your grant trackers, you know you have to stay on track, right? Worth $350. This is what you're paying, because people who know me know this is how I serve the community. I give this course at the lowest possible price because I know it can help more people. Now, I have services that are probably exponentially more, but this is the base course that I know will help you. So it's valued at $5,000. Again, it's been audited 3 times now. I charge $997 for it. Right now, it's discounted to $497, and that is what people pay on a daily basis. But you came on the webinar, and I know you could have been somewhere else at 7 o'clock, letting me know you need help. So for the next 3 days, guess what? You get $200 off. You get everything that I just mentioned. This entire course, the group coaching, live group coaching, access 24/7 access to the Facebook group where you are getting help and support for one payment of $297. That's it. That's not even a monthly payment. That's it. That includes everything, because this is how I give back to the community with this course. And if you need 2 months, we can give you 2 months. You pay $175 a month for 2 months. Use these codes. This is important to get the additional off. WG2025 is the code for the $200 off for the one payment. And then if you want to make the 2 payments, put a T on the end of it, WG2025T. The course never expires. You read that right. It never expires. Now, when do you see that? This is not something that's going to shut you off after 3 months or 6 months. The course never expires. All right. This is everything you get: the course, the coaching, the certificate. You get a certificate when you're done. And yes, you write everything off. You write it off. It's totally tax deductible. If you are a for-profit, this is an educational and business expense. If you are a nonprofit, you're not paying taxes, but it is an expense. So if you want to buy the course, the link is in the chat, and this is what you do. If you want to pay the $297, you're getting a discount off of $497. So hit your $497. You will see this page. You have a coupon though. Input your coupon, right? WG2025. It will take off $200. You're getting everything for $297. Now you see this little block here. That is a private VIP session with you and me, private, 1 hour. I will analyze your mission, your vision, your infrastructure, right? Your target population, and your service, program, or product or project. And you get a list of local and national grants. Now, it's $495 because it is a strategy session, and you get the notes and the video. The only time it's ever reduced to $195 is if you add it on right now to buy the course, or else you'll pay what everybody else pays, and that's $495. All right. Now, oh, we have one other little bonus for you. We have a buy now, pay later. I almost forgot about it. The $297, you literally can use Affirm or Afterpay or Klarna. 4 months, same as cash, even with the $297. You want to add on the $195, that's $492. You can move it over 4 payments as well. Affirm, Afterpay, and Klarna. And guess what? We still get you everything immediately. Like, even though you're getting 4 months to pay, you get everything right away. So if you want to make the 4 months same as cash, that's up to you. Or we use a credit card or bank withdrawal statement. But if you want to use specifically the 4 months same as cash, you input your coupon code, you get to the $297, you decide whether or not you want the one-on-one, put in your email, and you keep clicking these boxes here. You keep clicking like pay another way or alternative payment method until you see your credit card payment, your bank withdrawal payment section, or Affirm, Klarna, or Afterpay, and you choose one. You may have to click that little drop down, and that's what you choose. If you want to just pay us 2 times, that's fine. Hit the 2 times $275. That's the payment plan. And input your coupon, right? WG2025 T like Tom, and it will take off $100 from each payment. And yes, you can still add on the one-on-one coaching. Now, everybody look at this slide, because this is Whitney. Whitney never thought she would get any grant money. She got $200,000. These are all students in the course. She did exactly what I'm asking you to do. She started local. She got money from her Southern Power Fund. And if any of you have utility companies in your cities with foundations, please apply. They typically have pretty deep grant pockets, right? And then she went national. She went to the National Birth Equity Collaborative. They gave her 50,000. She ended up with $200,000 in 1 year. 1 year. Kanisha got $100,000 not even 2 months ago. These are all people in the course. The massage company, they got $20,000. Therapeutic massage, Tranquility Point Therapeutic Massage in Charlotte. They said, we are so very thankful and grateful for your course. It's been life-changing for our business, life-changing. Alicia got $40,000. Christina is an educator. She got $10,000 in a mentorship. She said, I would not have even had the confidence to follow through on applying for grants if it wasn't for her grant writing course. Excuse me. And guess who won the LegalZoom grant? One of my students, Emily, she won the $10,000. Quanisha got the Walmart grant. Oh, that elusive Walmart grant. She bought the one-on-one though. She said, thanks, Linda Peavy, because that one-on-one session we had is getting my organization funded. Now, I want to invite you all to this special event tomorrow at 7 p.m. That's the Grand State of the Union. I'm doing a deep dive, even deeper than today, into discussing grants. So, Melissa, if you could just put the bit.ly link into the chat if you're interested in attending, and you're welcome to attend. Now, we are at the Q&A. When we get to the Q&A, be sure to ask me the difference between a grant and a sponsorship. You will want to know. All right. We're at the Q&A. Now, before we get to Q&A, I need you to do something for me. Really for you, not for me, for you. Before you leave here, this is very important because I believe in manifestation. I believe it is important to get out into the universe what you want, because some of you have been sitting on the sidelines for a pretty long time, and people, time is up. Time is up, right? It is time to get into this grant game. You cannot win grant money unless you write these grants. So I want all of you right now to write into this webinar chat for you, not for me. Everybody right now. I'm ready to get grant money. I am ready to get grant money. Get it from up here through these fingers into that keyboard or that phone. Get this out of you. Like, put this out there. I am ready to get grant money. That's right. Write it down, right? Shirley, Denise, Crystal, I'm ready to get grant money. Like, write this down. This is very important that you do this. Damaris says, I've been ready. Mary, Denise, right? But you be ready. But what does that mean? It means being ready, right? Being grant ready, getting help, being in a community of support so that you can stop just writing a bunch of grants and getting these rejection letters, but really placing yourself in a position and navigating this crazy grant maze right now that's out here, right? Carolyn, Patina, I'm ready to get grant money. Mary, right? That's what I want you to do. I want you to be ready because time is out. As I always say, I have a coach that tells me all the time, Linda, you're the one you've been waiting for. You're the one you've been waiting for. Nobody's coming to save your organization. I'm passing that on to all of you. Nobody's coming to save your organization. It's up to you. You're the one that you've been waiting for. Place this in your hands. Place the knowledge, the know-how, the direction, and the coaching and get this done. Right? That's right. That's right. That's right. No one is in your way but you. Now you said it. No one is in my way but me. Right? What do we see? $189 billion in non-federal grant money, just out there, just out there, right? All right, it's Q&A time. I'm going to the Q&A in the box, then I'm going to go over to the webinar chat. Since we must use SMART goals, yes, will that have an impact on the changing of our verbiage? No, not at all. You must put measurables to your goals. So why don't you, I know you're in the course, why don't you drop your SMART goals into the Facebook group and let me look at them. Drop what you're thinking about in the Facebook group and let me look at them. But no, you're not changing the result. You're just putting numbers to it. So if your goal is to help kids learn how to read, you have to be specific in what is the age range of the group and how do you know that you're helping them to read? Well, one way is to measure their reading proficiency scores. So you can say, I want to make sure my program increases their reading proficiency scores by 5%. And that means I will have done a better job of helping them learn how to read better. All right. What about if I'm just in the formation process, still waiting the EIN? It doesn't take long, but you know what you should be doing now? Researching. If you're waiting on the EIN, if you're waiting on the 501c3, you don't want to submit the grant without it, but in the interim, start doing the research. Get you a list of grants ready. So by the time you get that EIN, by the time you get that 501c3, you're ready to go. I do offer one-on-one consultations. So send me an email. Melissa, if you could just place my email into the webinar chat so you can buy the one-on-one, the 1 hour with the course, or I do other private consultations. Some are remote, some are in person. I mentioned earlier, I was in Seattle last week because an organization wanted, and I'm in Ohio, so an organization sent me to Seattle to teach them grant writing in person. So that's always an option. Or just doing grant coaching. So if you send me an email, I will send you the grant coaching package. I do have a grant coaching package. All right. And then I have a 2-day boot camp coming up where I'm literally teaching you what would normally take you 3 months and 2 days. 2 7-hour days, we get it done. By the time you're done, you have a grant template complete, and we have gone through one application. 2 days. 2 days. All right. So I have a grant boot camp and I have ongoing grant coaching as well. All right. All right. So those are the questions in the Q&A. I'm going to go over to the webinar chat because I did see a few questions there. I'm going to drop, this is the grant coaching, just in case anyone is interested. This is the grant coaching link. And then I'm going to grab the boot camp. There's a boot camp coming up at the end of the month. And this is the link for the 2-day boot camp. All right, so let me get to the questions in the webinar chat. And I want to make sure I get through to all of the questions. Let's see. So yes, you write it off, right? So it is an educational expense. It's a business expense. And so if you are a nonprofit, you list it as an expense. If you are a for-profit, you write off the course. It's $297 that you're going to write off. Yes. All right. Let's see if there are other questions. There's still time to ask questions. Still time. All right. Let's see. Oh, you have 3 days to get the discount. Right. You have until 3 days to get the discount. Are there any other questions? I don't see a lot of questions. So this is your opportunity to ask a grants expert your questions. The difference between a grant and a sponsorship. So with the grant, when an organization gives you a grant, they can't expect anything of value from you, right? Other than you completing the grantee report and letting them know how you spent their money, but they can't expect anything in return. That's a value. Now, a sponsorship is different because when you get a sponsorship, that organization is expecting something in return for that sponsorship money that they gave you. Maybe they want to put their little tchotchke in your swag bag, or maybe they want their name on your marquee, or maybe they want an ad in your program booklet. Maybe they want to talk to your audience, but they're expecting something. A young lady had a a for-profit company where she marketed to attorneys to help them to market their law firms. And these are more higher income individuals. So I told her, go to your luxury car dealership in your neighborhood. Ask for a sponsorship. Maybe they'll give you $30,000 for the opportunity to place their car in front of your conference hall, right? Or where you're going to have your meeting. It's so much easier than you think for you to ask for sponsorships from your local businesses. And I have templates in the course. I have a grant application template. Remember, I talked about meeting with your foundation to ask them to meet with you? I have an email template. Remember, I talked about developing that partnership. I have a template. I make this easy for you. I have templates. I have financial documents templates, right? Budget templates. Even if you need the templates for your annual budget or your operations budget, we have templates that can help you. I even have a complete grant application template that would help you. All right. And I didn't see where anyone input their target population. Let me just see if anyone posted any information about their organization. And so, yes, you get the one payment or the two payments. Okay, let me do this really quickly. I'm going to show you how to buy the course since people are asking. Let me show you super quickly how you buy the course. And I think that will help you. All right, so I'm going to do this live really quickly so that you'll see. All right, let me share my screen. And there you go. So if you want to pay the $297, you hit $497. I'm doing this live. You hit $497 because you're going to get $200 off. You hit have a coupon. Your coupon code is WG2025. You hit apply. It will take off $200. Now you're only paying $297 for everything we talked about. You want to add the coaching, you add it. Now you're at $492. You don't have to. You can remove it. You input your email to set up the account, and then you're going to keep hitting pay another way, right? Alternative payment methods until you see your affirm, hit the little drop down. You have to pay your Klarna. Now, that's if you want to make the 4 month same as cash. You don't have to. You can pay everything with a credit card or bank withdrawals or Cash App Pay or Google Pay or PayPal. We have quite a few. Or maybe you just want to pay us 2 times. It's $175 now and then $175 a month from now, and you get everything, right? And I don't drip my course. You get everything right away. 2 times $275, input your coupon. It is WG2025, T like Tom. You apply it. Now you're only paying $175 a month. And yes, you can add on the expert 1-hour coaching. All right. So hopefully that answered those questions. Let me see if there are any other. What's included in the coaching package? Let me see if I can pull that up really quickly. Let me see if I can pull that up. Okay. All right. So since you asked, I'm going to take you through there really quickly. Let me go back to the Zoom and share my screen for those of you interested in the ongoing, I think you're talking about the ongoing coaching. There's a 1 hour, which I explained, right? We get you a small list of some local and national grants, but I really go through your mission and your infrastructure and your whatever your program and your project is. But the ongoing coaching, let me share my screen. All right. This is the ongoing coaching, right? So you're getting accountability, you're getting master grant research techniques. I'm going to teach you how to use artificial intelligence to write grants, and you get line by line grant reviews before you submit that grant application. All right, so there's a 3-month package and a 6-month package. The 3-month package is worth $10,999. You're only paying $1,997. or we have 3 payments of $7.97. You get 3 60-minute one-on-one calls, 1 complete grant review. I review that application from beginning to end and give you all of the feedback so that you end up writing it how I would write it. You get access to this course, right? So you get the free course that's worth $5,000. You get my artificial intelligence guide, where I have a little guide where I teach you how to write grants better using AI. You get my $1 million grant roadmap. You get the grant success kit. You get grant writing templates. You get these actionable steps after every meeting. You get the private Facebook group. You still get the monthly group coaching calls. You get the grant tracker, right? And this is all remote, right? This is all remote. So everything's worth $10,999. You're paying $1,997 for 3 months worth of grant coaching, including here. Now, the better deal is the six-month program, because this $3,797 or 3 payments of $1,399. This program is worth $19,997. You're paying $37.97. You get 6 60-minute one-on-one calls. We're going to cover strategy, grant research, implementation, and accountability. And then you get 3 times the number of grant reviews. I'm literally going to review 3 full grant applications before you submit them. And then with this program, I am creating a full course that will teach you how to write grants with artificial intelligence. I have a little mini guide now, but I'm creating a full course. You will get that course when it is released, and then everything else that you get in the 3-month payment plan, all right, or the 3-month program. Here again is $37.97 or 3 monthly payments of $13.99. That's the 6-month plan. So while I am showing this to you, I hope you can still see the screen. You have the opportunity to join my 2-day virtual grant bootcamp. That is March 27th, March 28th, from 9 o'clock until 5 o'clock each day, 7 hours every day, because I'm teaching you 3 months worth of information in 2 days, so that when you leave with a completed grant template. You are ready to apply for grants. We will identify grants with you. You will have a list of grants, and we will go through one grant application and make sure you go through every component and that you know exactly how to complete it. And you'll have time to complete it, right? So that you are in a phenomenal space at the end of those 2 days. All right. So it's $19.97 or 2 monthly payments of $12.49. And it's worth $12,500 because on day 1, I'm teaching you all the fundamentals, the state of grants, grant writing process, funder research techniques. I'm teaching this to you live. Artificial intelligence, right? Practical writing skills, right? How do you review grant proposals? How do you choose your community partners? We're going to have a list of community partners for you by the time you're done. You will leave with a list of community partners. And then day 2, you're applying your knowledge. We're going to do a full grant walkthrough. You're going to leave with an implementation plan. You're going to leave with a list of grants, national grants, local grants, right? You will leave with a completed grant template. We're going to choose one grant and go through it so that you know exactly how to complete it, right? And I will be there to help you complete that application so that it's ready, all right? And then these are your bonuses, right? You get the course, you get the success kit, you get the roadmap, you get the AI guide, you get so many different templates. And again, you walk away with a complete grant template, list of grants, skill on knowing how to write compelling grants, the implementation plan, and the intro to AI tools. All right. So this is a plan that's $19.97 or 2 payments of $12.49. And this is March 27th and March 28th. All right. So hopefully you got that. And I placed the 2 links into the chat. Do you have a template for how you show how you spend the money? Yes. Yes. So that's in the course. There's not a template. I actually have real grant applications in the course. So in the course, they're under the budget module. And then once you see real grant application, I'll show you exactly how you list ways in which you're going to spend the grant money. And there's different ways you can do it. So let's say the grant is for only a part of your budget. Let's say your budget is $50,000 and you're applying for a grant for $10,000. I can show you how you lay out how you're spending the $10,000 as opposed to your total grant amount, or whether your total organizational or project amount for $50,000. So yes, you get to see exactly how you lay out the funding. So that's all in the course. All right. Let's see if there are any other questions. Let me go back over to the Q&A. If not, we're going to wrap it up. Let's see. Okay, last chance for questions. And keep in mind, the course is only $297. $297. And those of you who are buying the course, you will get 3 emails. One email will be, oh, you're linked to the Facebook group. I'm telling you, you want to be in the Facebook group. There are so many grants. And guess what? You can always submit information and on a volunteer basis, ask for people to review it on a volunteer basis, right? So if maybe you have a pitch deck, or maybe you started writing a little bit and maybe you want to put in a couple of pages into the Facebook group on a volunteer basis, right? Ask if someone will review it. I have people in there with doctorates in English, education, and professional grant writers. I'm in there a lot. You'll be sick of seeing me. You'll be sick of seeing this face in the Facebook group because I'm in there all the time. And if I'm in there and you drop it, I will definitely skim it for you. But that's not guaranteed. That's on a volunteer basis. All right. But before we go anywhere, we have to stop. We have to give Angela some love. Angela bought the course. Angela's like, I need to be on my way. So I need to see some clapping of hands. Yes, I need to see some hearts. Yes, Angela, I will see you in the Facebook group. And for all of you buying the course, when you get to the Facebook group, I'm going to ask you a question. Answer my question. Answer my question because I'm going to help you immediately. I'm going to help you immediately. I don't even want you waiting until the next group coaching call. The group coaching call is the last Monday of the month. I don't even want you waiting until then because these grants are available. Like it's go time, people. It really is. I'm not saying this because I don't have anything else to say. Grants are going to be more competitive. And it's March 11th. Did you know that there are more grants available now than any other part of the year? Because a lot of grants are what? First come, first serve. So like now's the time that now there are grants available all throughout the year. Let me be clear about that. There are just more grants available at the beginning of the year, right? Where we are now, because some grants are first come, first serve. All right. So it's go time. So I asked you to be a part of a community where you can get the support and the help that you need, right? It's $297 that you're going to write off, but it will place you in a community where you get the support so that you can actually start winning some grant money, right? Because I don't want you to write a bunch of grants that you're not going to get. That doesn't serve anybody, right? I need you to be successful, right? All right. Now, let me see if there are any other questions, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Yes, you have 3 days. You have until Friday. It's Tuesday. You have until Friday to get the additional $200 off. Yes. I believe we are done. Let me make sure. Let me go back up in the webinar chat and make sure I answered all of the questions. All right, that's it. Melissa, if you could put my email address into the webinar chat, please put my email into your safe senders list, your email contact list, so that when you get the replay, I just don't want it going to your spam. So hopefully I will see you over the course of the next 3 days in the Facebook group. You have until 3 days to get the course for $297 that you're going to write off. Remember, you'll write it off, and yes, you will get a certificate. So thank you so much. My name is Linda Peavy. I'm founder of LaPav Consulting and the course Grant Writing for non-writers, keys winning grant proposals. Thank you so much for hopping on and for wanting to get the right information about what's going on with grants. Hopefully you've been encouraged because the grant money is available. It's about knowing where to find it and then knowing how to write that grant application that will place you in the best possible position to get it. So thank you. Thank you for hopping on. I appreciate you. And you've got 3 days. Hopefully, I will see you in the Facebook group over the course of the next 3 days. But whatever you do, keep moving forward. Don't be discouraged. Keep moving forward. But I would love for you to come into a community where you can really get the help that you need. But don't let this be a webinar that you've attended and you don't do anything with the information, because there's a lot of really good information here that will help propel you forward. And I just don't want you to stop, because there are people waiting on your skills, right? There are people waiting on you to manifest what it is that you've been wanting to do for a long time. All right, whether it's start a business or create that nonprofit, but do it the right way. All right, do it the right way. All right, thank you so much. Have a blessed and a safe evening, and a blessed and a safe rest of your week and rest of your year. And hopefully I will see you very soon in the course and the Facebook group, which is an amazing, amazing group to be a part of. So many grants are dropped in there, and so much support. All right. Thank you so much. My name is Linda Peavy, and have a blessed, blessed, blessed evening. All right. Bye-bye.